Howdy folks, I'm Brian, and here's the daily roundup of the Reddit jerks. So let's get started. I'm a 32-year-old female, and I live with my husband, 38-year-old male, and we have two kids, 12 and 8, in an apartment community. Most of the people who live here are working professionals or older and retired. It's a very nice and respected community. She's a nice girl and appears to be in her early 20s. However, she's always tanning by the pool in the skimpiest of swimsuits. They're basically like G-strings. Me and my other neighbors have talked about how disrespectful it is. We've thought about talking to her in a polite way and just explaining that there are children and people who don't consent to seeing all of that. Will I be a jerk if I ask her to dress more respectfully in public? Okay, so let's get this straight. She's sitting by the pool in a bathing suit, and you have a problem with that. I mean, this is, yes, you would be the jerk here. She's not dressed inappropriately for the pool, and if she's in her own private property, then you will especially be a jerk here. If this is like a public pool, then I mean, why are you worried about what someone's wearing at a public pool? So yeah, no, this is just weird all around. Don't ask someone to dress more appropriately if they're tanning by a pool. Doesn't matter. It's her choice to dress this way. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for inviting my sister, soon-to-be ex, and his affair partner, my best friend, to my wedding? I just started learning English for my honeymoon, so please excuse any mistakes plus a fake name. Don't worry, I'll mess up reading anyways. Background, back in May, my sister, 26, found out that her husband, 27, who she's been with for 7 years, married for 4, and has 1 child together, was having an affair with my best friend, Kate, for the last 2 years. It was a shock, and they were in tears and there were tantrums for weeks when Kate and Tim told my sister about the relationship and he was filing for divorce. My sister became very angry and bitter towards them, which I can understand, yeah. But here's the issue. Me and Kate have been best friends since we were 5. Obviously, I told Kate off about the affair and stopped talking to her, but in July we made up and saw how happy they were, so I invited them to the wedding. Me and my ex-brother-in-law were close. I thought they'd put aside their differences for me for a single day because even though my sister won't admit, she has been civil to them in the long run for her daughter's sake. Well, on Friday, Kate and my sister showed up for a fitting and all hell broke loose. My sister called Kate a few words and asked me what kind of game I was playing. Kate was also crying and apologizing, but sis just told them to leave. Since then, my sister has told me that she and her daughter aren't going to the wedding. Most of my family have joined in calling me a bridezilla and a jerk, and even my in-laws are mad. So give it to me straight. Am I a jerk for just wanting a perfect day where everyone puts aside their differences for me? So I was asked to provide this info. Yes, Kate is my sister and was going to be there, and she wanted to talk and maybe try to mend things. No, my ex-brother-in-law doesn't know he chewed both of us out because my sis is 8 months pregnant and has already been making things difficult to see his daughter. Me and Kate are closer than me and my sister and I have an okay relationship, but the age gap does get in the way, and my sister is closer to our younger brother. Also, my sister is telling people to choose either to go to my wedding or she'll never speak to them again. Well, I think the additional information helps some stuff here, but I definitely think that you're maybe naive to assume that everyone is going to put aside their differences and be nice on a day like that. You're inviting the woman who broke up your sister's marriage, and to be fair, I mean, it's not just her. This had been going on for 2 years, and her husband is a bad person who was going behind their back for 2 years, and Kate is also bad in the respect that they were going behind her back for 2 years. If they were so interested in each other, then he should have filed for divorce a lot sooner than 2 years. It's not a good situation you put your sister in. It's also not a good situation that you put Kate in. And I know that it sounds like Kate wanted to kind of mend the fence, but a wedding is not the time to do that. The thing is that Kate is going to have to realize that probably no amount of time is ever going to pass that's going to be sufficient for your sister to forgive her. And that's just the way it's going to be. I'm going to say gently that you are a jerk, probably more gently than I should. Anyhow, take care and good luck. I hope that things get better between you and your sister, but it's really going to sound like you're probably going to have to make a choice between your sister and Kate. This next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for going off on my sister-in-law because of the way she talks about her possibly autistic daughter? I've been debating on making this post for a while, but the dust has finally settled and everyone is acting like I'm the jerk. So honestly, a bit of validation post. Sorry to say, it doesn't look like you're going to get that validation that you're looking for. My sister-in-law has 2 children, a girl that's 18 months and a boy that's 6 months. This post is in regard to the girl. She doesn't speak at all. She babbles, but mostly makes pterodactyl noises to communicate. Recently, we were all planning Thanksgiving and my niece was running around in the background. Side note, her nickname is Baby Bird because she flaps her hands like little wings when she's running around playing. Somebody made a comment, I didn't quite catch it, but it was about something that my niece was doing, and my sister-in-law shrugged and passively said, well, she might be autistic. That was the first time that it had ever been mentioned, and of course we all had questions. Sister-in-law said when she took the baby for her checkup, the pediatrician said that she was showing signs of what may be autism. I asked her how she felt and if she was okay, and she just laughed and said, It's a non-issue. We always knew she was a bit off, but we just now have a name for it. Everyone laughed, and I asked her what she meant by that. She described all the autistic tendencies, her words, not mine, and said that she didn't care, she wouldn't treat or love her any differently. I told her that was a horrible way to talk about her daughter. Everyone got quiet and stared at me, and my husband gave me a look like he wished a hole in the earth would swallow me, but I kept on. I told her she can't treat her the same way because she'll have special needs and won't function like the same as other kids. I told her she's not throwed off, she's autistic. My sister-in-law stared at me for a moment and then said, Thanks for that, Melanie Bennett, which, who even is that, and then left. My mother-in-law went off on me. My other sister-in-law told me that I was doing it too much. And my husband just looked at me and like I'm disappointed and barely speaks to me. How am I a jerk? So Reddit, soothe me. Am I a jerk? I don't think I'm going to give you any soothing here, and unfortunately I do think that you're a jerk, and I think it's a little odd that you're so blind to this. Yes, her daughter is autistic, but that doesn't mean that she can't love her or treat her the same. I mean, sure, she's going to potentially have some differences in how she learns or behaves. I mean, autism is on a spectrum. And in the worst cases, people who are autistic, they may not be able to function in society in a way that where they can hold on to a steady job or they have other issues. However, a lot of cases of autism are people who just have slight differences. It's a spectrum. You know, there's not anything wrong with being autistic. Now, she might suffer from some issues, like I was saying, but overall, this doesn't mean that she's going to be, unable to function, or that she's even going to need to be treated differently. Again, she might need speech therapy or some other forms of therapy, or even, different lesson plans. And it really just depends on the severity of the condition. But again, it doesn't mean that your sister is going to love her any less. Take care and good luck. Hopefully you can see that you are being a jerk here and that it was pretty well deserved, the treatment that other people were giving you here. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for pretending to know less than I do about contraception and pregnancy in order to boost my wife's confidence? When my wife and I started talking about a timeline for a baby, I started reading a lot of contraception and pregnancy. I wasn't completely ignorant before this, but I only had a general understanding. By the time we actually started trying, I knew a good amount. I'm not an expert, but I feel like I am able to have an intelligent conversation about trying for a baby and understand what's being said. I decided to keep this mostly to myself to boost my wife's confidence, since she always feels like I know more about everything, which is sometimes a cause for her to feel insecure. I thought in this case it would be worse, since a lot of what's happening relates to her body, so I could feel like I was overstepping a boundary in her area. I could also tell how overwhelmed she felt by the whole process and how all the information out there, so I thought I would only be made worse if I started to share with her what I knew, so it would make it seem like I was also lecturing her. There are already so many voices telling her to do something, I didn't feel like she needed another. I didn't do a good job at pretending as I intended, and she eventually realized that I knew more than she thought. I came clean and admitted that I had been reading a lot from when we started seriously discussing having a baby, but explained that I hid this from her because I didn't want to overwhelm her or seem like a know-it-all. She thinks I'm a jerk for pretending to be ignorant to make her feel better. She feels like it was condescending, implying that she can't process her emotions like an adult, but also unhelpful since it would have helped her pick up some things quicker and saved her some time. She is also upset because she feels like I put a burden of having a baby on her when it should have been us sharing it. To her, this is the worst case because I could have helped her out and chose not to, as opposed to husbands that just don't know and don't learn. I think she has some valid points there. I was just trying to make her feel better and not to be too intense about this. I can see where I might have been wrong, but my intentions were good. For that reason, I think it's harsh to say I'm a jerk. Is that right? I think your intentions were good. But I definitely think the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Now, you were treating your wife like she wasn't going to be able to handle this information or handle you knowing more than her. I mean, this is really condescending. I mean, it sounds super condescending. So in the future, don't be so condescending and don't treat your wife like she's, her ego is fragile, is going to break if you know more than her about something. And, if you're coming across as a know-it-all all the time, then maybe you should reflect on that and try to understand why people might consider you as a know-it-all. The thing is that you don't have to lecture someone in order to prove that you have a bunch of knowledge. And the thing is that if you have an intelligent conversation with someone and you talk about what you know, that's one thing. But if you're going into these long tirades and telling people all this stuff that you know and all this information unprompted, then that's an entirely different matter. So I would think about that. Think about why you might be coming across as a know-it-all, why you might be coming across as someone who maybe is lecturing people, and try to be a little introspective here and try to work towards improving yourself in that respect. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, our last letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Hating My Husband's PhD Thesis? Disclaimer, he hasn't written it yet, but he has been accepted as a PhD student, full-time paid job here, which also means that his area of study and thesis subject has been approved already. I won't be too specific, but that has to do with the effect of IT and technology and gamification on education, and it's just so stupid. We've talked about this for years, and I've always made it clear that I found gamification, and to an extent, the overuse of technology in educational settings to be detrimental to the entire ordeal. Not only have I struggled to find any, in my opinion, credible academic literature to support the subject, but having been a teacher for just shy of a decade, I've never seen a practical approach with those two elements that didn't either crash and burn, at the very least, or produce the results similar to lessons plans without them present. Well, now he's been accepted and he's really excited. In his own words, he's stuck in IT jobs, development, not support, for years, and he has missed the human element of interviewing people and for his work to have a real impact on society besides adding to the bottom line of corporations. I can respect that, but since it's all he wants to talk about, and 2 nights ago, we had some wine with dinner and a few more after, and he started talking about it again, and I just couldn't. I snapped at him and told him to be quiet about his pseudoscience. Well, the mood was ruined, and so was the weekend. He barely has spoken to me today, but his best friend reached out to me and asked if I actually said that. I was honest and explained why, and all he could do is say, wow. Just to be clear, I don't think I'm a jerk for expressing my view on his forthcoming research, but I think I'm a jerk for the way I expressed it. Too long didn't read. My husband will only talk about his upcoming PhD studies, and I snapped because he needs to be quiet. Here's the thing. You're not always going to like the area of research that someone does. And it sounds like you've had some poor experiences with technology in the classroom. This doesn't mean that all technology in the classroom is bad and is detrimental towards education. People like your husband who are researching this may be able to open up new doors and new avenues into helping people learn using technology. The thing is that our world is rapidly changing, and we need to be able to teach people faster, better, and using more technology. And I agree, a lot of times technology is abused in classrooms and it doesn't work right, and there's a lot of things that could be improved about it. The only way to improve is by doing research, and research similar to what your husband is doing. And also, I think it's really unfortunate that you are so against and opposed to your husband's, excitement and joy. He is happy. He is trying to do something he thinks is important. I think he just is happy and excited that he's going to go into academia and be able to study the area that he's interested in. I think you should be excited for him, even if you aren't excited over the area of his study. A PhD program is hard enough as it is without having your spouse support you. So I think that, again, he's going to need all the love and support that you can muster throughout the years. And if you don't provide it for him, then it's going to be really hard for him to continue to move forward in the next, 4, 5, 10 years, depending on how long it takes. Anyhow, take care, good luck, and I hope your husband's able to make an impact in the scientific community. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this set of stories. If you did, consider giving me a like. Also, consider subscribing. It helps keep me motivated. If I see people subscribe, then I'm like, hey, people are enjoying my stuff. And if you aren't enjoying my stuff, then leave a comment below and let me know what I could do to improve. I'm always open to new ideas. Someone recently suggested that I might consider adding comments to these or reading some of the comments to these. I'm open to that idea, but I'm actually going to be releasing a video here soon on why I haven't done that. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.